Hey, what is up guys, it is Thunderstruck115, and today we are going to be making another response video to Tim Hansen. And the video in question that we're going to be responding to is titled, Why Dead of the Night Failed. This was uploaded back in December of 2019, after Black Ops 4 had its whole DLC cycle. And some of you might be wondering, why are you responding to a video from 2019 that was like 3 years ago? Well, a few reasons. First and foremost, because y'all asked me to. Number two, his recent Black Ops 4 review that I made a response to pretty much upholds the same things that he says in this Dead of the Night review. It's just, in this older video, he elaborates more because he's focusing on Dead of the Night rather than BO4 as a whole. And number three, this is probably one of the worst Zombies map reviews I've ever seen. So grab a drink, grab some snacks, and let's get right into this.
Hello, and thank you for joining me on this beautiful Saturday or Sunday evening, depending on how long I managed to procrastinate talking about Black Ops 4 Zombies. Today, our subject is, of course, Dead of the Night. You may have scrolled past this video, paused, went back, and realized, I forgot this map existed. I don't blame you. I did the same thing. I woke up this morning and I remembered, I gotta talk about Dead of the Night for a couple of hours. I forgot this map even existed. I thought we were doing Ancient Evil next.
Yeah, this seems to be a recurring theme throughout this video where Tim just has severe memory issues. So yeah, just prepare yourself for that.
First impressions are everything. If you reach across the table and spill water all over a girl on your first date, you're probably not getting a second one because in her mind, you're just a careless fool who doesn't even know how to use his own arms.
Why do I get the feeling he's speaking from experience?
And when you really think about it, DLC 1 is the ultimate first impression.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no.
DLC 1 is the ultimate first impression.
Evidently, Tim does not know what first impression means. So your first impression of a game would be the first time you fucking play it. And if you play a game at launch, that first impression is the launch content, not the DLC. Because let me ask you this. If somebody buys Black Ops 4, or any game for that matter, and they don't like what's there on the disc and they don't like the base game, then why would they buy paid DLC for it? And the answer is they simply wouldn't. Now, you might be wondering, but what about people that pre-ordered the digital deluxe edition of this game? And to that I say, that's why you don't fucking pre-order shit.
The launch content doesn't have to be extraordinary, it just has to be good enough, because people are typically enamored with the game being new. The game is fresh and exciting, but it's around DLC 1 when that feeling begins to wear off and people are expecting new and better content. DLC 1 is the ultimate first impression. If DLC 1 flops, the rest of the game is not going to go well.
He said the same shit in his recent Black Ops 4 review, so I'm just gonna copy and paste the response from there. That's a fucking lie and Tim knows it. If DLC 1 is what truly makes or breaks a game, then Black Ops 2 would have completely flopped. Yet many people regard it as one of the best Zombies games, even though the DLC 1 map, Die Rise, was and still is considered one of, if not the worst map in all of Zombies.
And that's exactly what happened with Black Ops 4 Zombies. Dead of the Night was an awful first impression. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the launch maps are atrocious. I am not a big fan of Voyage of Despair or Blood of the Dead, but the fact that the game was new and everything was fresh about it sort of overrided that.
Were you even there when Black Ops 4 first launched? Because I was there, and I remember a lot of people complaining about the game, even at launch.
It's like getting a brand new car. You're enamored with it, you're excited about it, and it's not until a couple of months later that you begin to realize that you actually don't love the color of it.
So not only does Tim have memory problems, but he also doesn't think before making major decisions. I'm sorry, but if you drop like 25 grand on a new car without even thinking that, maybe I don't like this color, I'm sorry, but that is entirely on you.
You can get away with one poor launch map. You can't, however, get away with a poor DLC 1 map, because like I said, DLC 1 is the very important first impression.
Black Ops 2 got away with it. This whole point is stupid.
It sort of gives you an idea as to what the rest of the game is going to be like. And Dead of the Night was a very poor first impression. But how? You may be wondering. How was Dead of the Night a bad first impression? It all begins with marketing. Where the fuck was it? It's sort of a given that before you release a brand new zombies map to the public, you release some sort of trailer or some sort of cutscene in advance to get people excited, to get people hyped for the map. Because the last thing you want is for people to be not only unaware, but unexcited for a zombies map. For example, DLC 1 of Black Ops 3 Zombies, Der Eisendrache. Weeks in advance before the map launched, you had trailers, epic trailers that were getting people excited, got people talking about the map. And it also just so happened that Der Eisendrache is one of the best maps of all time. Therefore, DLC 1 was successful. Therefore, the rest of the game was successful.
Yes, Der Eisendrache was a very popular map, and yes, it was marketed, but those two don't have anything to do with each other. If marketing is what truly makes or breaks a zombies map, then Transit would have been the best map of all time. But it wasn't.
Dead of the Night, on the other hand, did not market. They did absolutely everything in their power to not get people excited, to not get people hyped for this experience. Not one trailer, not one gameplay trailer, that is. I do believe they may have uploaded the intro cinematic on YouTube one day in advance. I'm not even sure about that. But that's clearly not enough, even if that was the case. They didn't upload any trailers. They didn't post anything on Twitter or Instagram regarding it. If you weren't around during this time, I kid you not, they literally just released the map. That was it. Nobody was expecting it. Not one person, which is obviously a major issue.
I mean, it's a major issue for Treyarch and Activision because if less people are aware of it, then less people are going to buy the DLC. But that has nothing to do with the quality of the map.
And a major contributor as to why this map failed and why the rest of Black Ops 4 failed as a result.
No, the reason why people didn't like Black Ops 4 is because the game was buggy as hell when it first launched, as well as the fact that it changed up a lot of the mechanics.
Because people didn't have enough time to absorb and get excited for the map. Any successful zombies map had some sort of trailer in advance, except for maybe Nocturne Toten, because it was the first map ever. But you get my point.
I mean, technically you're right. Every map prior to Dead of the Night that was successful was marketed. But so was every map that was unsuccessful. Because, hear me out, maybe, just maybe, the quality of the marketing has nothing to do with the quality of the actual product. It's like saying that all rich people breathe fucking oxygen. Is it true? Yes, but the fact that they're rich has nothing to do with the fact that they breathe oxygen.
Without marketing, you're eliminating all hopes of someone on the outside who doesn't own Black Ops 4 to then see the trailer, go purchase the game, and then play Dead of the Night.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think someone who doesn't care about a game is going to get hyped by seeing a trailer for paid DLC in a game they don't own or care about. Maybe a few people do, but I don't think the majority would.
You're also eliminating a large percentage of players who do already own the game, but are simply unaware of it.
Yeah, I was there when Dead of the Night released, and I remember that when the map did release, news of it was plastered everywhere all over Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, etc. Or even if you didn't look up information about this game on the internet, you would still see that Dead of the Night released when you booted up the game and saw the message of the day saying, "Hey, guess what? New map." In fact, looking back on it, it might have actually been a good play by Treyarch and Activision, because I think it invokes something similar to the Streisand effect, but not quite the same, where the fact that this map just released out of nowhere gets a lot of people talking about the map and essentially does the marketing for them without them spending a cent on it.
But at the end of the day, you will have a small percentage of hardcore players that will play the map regardless. When you and I log into the game, we see that Dead of the Night has released and we play it. But the fact that so many other people have been cut off from this map already is alarming. So we finally load up the map, and the first thing we see is, of course, the intro cinematic, and we are introduced to our new characters. Yeah, Dead of the Night didn't do great in this department either. I'm not saying I hate these characters, but what reason do I have to care about them?
I don't know, maybe their personality, their memorable quotes, the way they synergize with each other, their struggle to survive against the zombie horde, their connection to Alistair, the plight of Godfrey being possessed by Dark Godfrey and being controlled by the Order. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say that the Dead of the Night crew is my favorite crew. Like, I think Madame Morella and the Brigadier are kind of annoying. but they're memorable. And I think Gideon Jones as well as Godfrey the Butler are really great characters. Now, if you don't gel with these characters, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that there's no reason to get attached to them.
They're a spin-off of a spin-off. They're not the Primus or Ultimus crew that we're familiar with. They're not even the Chaos crew that just got introduced.
Well, no fucking shit.
They're a branched off version of the Chaos crew. We just got introduced to a brand new crew that we already weren't huge fans of.
That's subjective. Maybe you didn't, and maybe not everyone in the community did. But there were quite a few people that do care about them.
And now we're getting introduced to another one, which are really just nameless faces that have no genuine purpose. I honestly don't remember the names of any of these characters. I think one of them is Godfried.
Ha 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 ha. This dude really can't remember the names of the characters that he's talking about in a review of Dead of the Night. I'm willing to bet that Tim actually does know the names of them and he's just pretending just to make some sort of joke, which isn't even all that funny. But even if he doesn't remember the names of them, he really couldn't be bothered to do a quick 20-second Google search.
Fucking who knows? Who cares? Yes, some of that has to do with me personally not caring enough to delve deeper into it. But I shouldn't have to. You know, back in the day with the Ether storyline, with our Ultimus crew, I didn't have to look deeper into it.
The fuck are you talking about, dude? The Aether story is always been in the background, and the whole point of it is that you have to actively go out of your way to learn about the story. Because Zombies is a gameplay-focused game, so it has you learning about the story on your own time rather than the game's time. You absolutely had to look deeper into it.
I fell in love with their quotes. They were funny and intriguing characters, which slowly grew over me. But what this felt like to me was, hey, here's an unimportant cast of characters who just so happen to be celebrity voiced. Here's an unimportant cast of characters who just so happen to be celebrity voiced. Here's an unimportant cast of characters who just so happen to be celebrity voiced. Here's an unimportant cast of characters who just so happen to be celebrity voiced. Here's an unimportant cast of characters who just so happen to be celebrity voiced.
Selective outrage at its finest. What can I say?
It doesn't really matter to me. And as a result of me not being particularly interested in these characters, I don't really care about what their mission is or what the premise of this map is. It's really all sort of an enigma to me. And as a result of that, I never did the Easter egg, and it's sort of just a chain reaction of not caring.
So you didn't do the Easter egg because you don't care about the characters. That seems odd. That's like saying, hey, I didn't eat breakfast this morning because my tire was flat. Although at least I don't have to worry about him getting shit wrong about the Easter egg, since he won't really be talking about it, but seriously, he hasn't even gotten to the fucking map yet.
Because the characters just didn't allow me to. So for the small fraction of players who managed to get past the poor marketing, we were slapped in the face with an uninteresting premise, an uninteresting set of characters, and just a relatively boring concept.
Just keep this clip in mind, folks, because it's going to come up later in the video.
All of these issues plagued Dead of the Night before we even spawned in for the very first time. Before we even began playing this map, people were either unaware of it or uninterested in it.
Maybe you were uninterested in it, but everybody I knew that was aware of the map was interested in it. Whether that interest was positive or negative.
Thanks largely to poor marketing and a long, dragged-out intro cinematic featuring another new set of characters that provide us with no reason to care about them.
You do realize you can skip the intro cutscene once the map loads, right? Like, once the prompt on screen appears, I always just hit the A button so I can get to playing as soon as possible, because I honestly don't really give a fuck about the story. And quite clearly, you don't really give a fuck about the story either.
Honestly, Treyarch's failure to properly market Dead of the Night alone is the reason for its failure. I mean, nobody was even aware of the map to begin with. It just fell out of the sky, landed on our laps, and we had no expectations.
Holy fucking shit, we get it, dude. We heard you the first time when you were complaining about the lack of marketing. Just get to the fucking map already and stop repeating yourself like a fucking broken record.
However, I hear you loud and clear. What makes a bad map is not poor marketing, it's a poor design. I mean, marketing really has nothing to do with the gameplay itself. it just disables people from getting in there in the first place.
So, in other words, you could have just cut out all those parts outside the first one where you were talking about the marketing, and nothing of value in this video would have been lost. And this entire section was just a waste of everybody's time.
So let's put the poor marketing aside, and let's put the characters and the story and the Easter egg aside as well. Let's look at the raw gameplay. Let's look at the map design here. Let's give Dead of the Night a fair shot, because a map could be marketed poorly, a movie or anything could be marketed poorly, but still be pretty good. It doesn't really affect the quality of it.
Seven minutes into a nearly 18-minute long review of Dead of the Night, and now we're finally getting to the fucking map. Like, if you're gonna review the map, but get to the fucking point. You could have cut those last 7 minutes, and yet the video would still be long enough for you to spam mid-roll ads to your heart's content.
So let's give it a shot. You spawn in one of two rooms, which is an uncommon feature, but it's a feature that I really enjoy. We've seen it in the past with maps like Verrucht, where your team is split up from the very beginning and have to link up in a central location. In Verrucht's case, the power switch, which is the most essential component of that map. And in Dead of the Night's case, the Sentinel artifact, which acts in the same way. This adds a unique twist to the map. It splits up your team so that you have to perform at your very best ability to get to the power switch together alive. Otherwise, half of your team is going to die. We applaud Verrucht for applying this, and I think we should do the same for Dead of the Night. Dead of the Night did a great job of making things interesting early.
You know, it's kind of ironic that Tim hates Dead of the Night and I love it, but he's praising something on Dead of the Night which I don't really think deserves praise. Like, yeah, you're separated at spawn, but you only have 2 doors to get to the Sentinel artifact and link up. And those doors are linked to either side, so if you open the first door on one side, it gets opened for your teammates on the other. And since there's only 2 doors, there's really no reason why you should be separated from your teammates after round 2.
After activating the Sentinel artifact, what's next, alongside grabbing miscellaneous parts, is obtaining the 3 tuning forks to activate Pack-a-Punch. In order to obtain these, you need to find 3 wisps around the map, knife them open, and feed them zombie souls. When you do that, you can look within, see the object you need to find, and go find that object. In this case, it's a noose, telling me that I'd be better off hanging myself than continuing this game.
Do I even justify this with a response? Nah, I don't think I will.
So I need to go find the noose. When I find it, a ghost bitch pops out of thin air and leads me to the tuning fork. Oftentimes, I lose her. Where did Shoddy go? I don't know. This is one of the reasons why I don't like the Pack-a-Punch process. I fucking lose her all the time.
She's bright blue, and she moves at a pace where you can easily follow her. The only way I can reasonably see you losing her all the time is if you have the memory capacity of a fucking turnip. Then again, I'm not sure why I should expect anything different from the person who said that Black Ops 4 was overwhelming at launch because it had 4 maps.
This step is absolutely cancerous because oftentimes you don't actually know where these items are unless you're one of those people that pays attention to each and every single detail across the entire map throughout the entire game. I'm not one of those people. There's often just random obscure items laying around that you have to keep track of, which obviously, for the average player, is an issue. It'd be different if there were 1 or 2 possible items, but there are a dozen of them, and what it ends up turning into every single time is a scavenger hunt, which is irritating, especially for people who aren't even familiar with the map or the game. Yesterday when I was playing this map, I got a newspaper scroll as one of the items. I had no fucking idea where that was, and I literally just quit the game. I didn't want to go find it. So this step in particular is nothing but trouble.
Okay, I can kind of agree with Tim here. I remember for like the first week after this map launched, I hated it because I couldn't find out how to fucking Pack-a-Punch, and it's a needlessly obscure process, so I will give him that. But you know what I did? I looked it up. And if Tim really cared, he could have looked up to find that, hey, this scroll that I'm looking for is in the library. I suppose casual players might not be the kind of people to do that, but I already looked up guides for doing a bunch of side quests on these maps anyways, and so is Tim, considering that he likes maps like Origins, Mob of the Dead, Shadows of Evil, etc., which all have a bunch of extraneous shit, and some of them actually have obscure Pack-a-Punch quests. But I can see why the average player might not like it.
The other 2 steps are pretty simple. One of them, you're directed towards a specific god statue. You kill a bunch of vampires and are rewarded with one of the tuning forks. And in the other one, you're directed to one of 3 clocks. You activate it and are given the other tuning fork. When you have all 3, you can then enter the forest, and you're met with this motherfucker. We'll get to Big Head here later. My point is, Pack-a-Punching on this map can be easy, depending on what items you get, but usually it's very irritating. Pack-a-punching this map can be an absolute nightmare. It's either look up a YouTube tutorial or go on a scavenger hunt if you don't know where one of the very many items are.
Pack-a-punch is only difficult if you don't know where one of the parts is. Once you know where to look, it's actually extremely easy, and you can easily get it open by round 6. It is not that difficult to do once you know where everything is.
Not gonna lie, at times it can be fun. I just walk around pretending I'm Sherlock Holmes, trying to solve this fucked up puzzle, grab a piece here, grab a piece there. Sometimes it works out and it's beautiful. I love that concept. But at the end of the day, what it always ends up turning into is a tedious scavenger hunt that not everybody has the patience for, especially beginners, especially for casuals. The majority of the community are casuals after all. And speaking of many items, oh my god, on Dead of the Night, you have to find what feels like 1,000 different parts. You have the 3 tuning forks, you have the shield parts, you have the silver bullet parts, you have all of the upgradable parts for the Alistair's Foley, and there's a lot of other side quests that you can choose to do, like getting the vampire stakes and other things that require grabbing a lot more parts. It doesn't seem like a lot when I list them off, but let me tell you, it feels like an endless search.
Except you're forgetting that with the exception of Pack-a-Punch and the shield, everything you just listed is completely optional. You don't have to do them if you don't want to.
Now, it'd be one thing if you only had to grab a couple of the pieces for survival, but you need the vast majority of them. If you don't have a shield on this map, you're fucked. You are fucked without a shield. You really need silver bullets to kill those werewolves, otherwise, good luck, man.
No, you don't. You can take them out just fine without the silver bullets. The silver bullets just makes your weapons more effective against them and basically turns them into pushovers. Here's a little demonstration.
Judas!
I thought the big fella would never go down. Not the first time I said the big bad wolf is back, but this little piggy's ready. Who's a good boy, huh? Who's a good boy?
They spawn in pretty frequently, and they are bullet sponges. The Nosferatus, if you want to kill those efficiently, the vampire stake is almost necessary.
No, it's not. Vampires do not take that much more to kill than a standard zombie. The steak knife certainly helps, but it's not required. If you can't kill them without the steak knife, that's just a skill issue.
The fact that there are so many parts, combined with the fact that you have to grab them, really rubs the player the wrong way. In theory, the more parts, the more things to build, the better. But in reality, what it ends up creating are disgruntled casual players. I mean, casual players hop on this map and they go, look how many fucking parts I have to grab. I don't know where any of this is. I just have to walk along the border of the map holding square or X. And what casual players end up doing instead of going on this seemingly endless search is just quitting. Why play this map when you can go play another one? That's a lot simpler.
Oh my god. Right now, Tim is expressing the same attitude that Griffin Gaming had when he was trying to defend Call of Duty Vanguard, where he thinks that just because he feels a certain way about a map, that everyone else must also feel this way. Now, I could see why casual players might not enjoy doing every single side quest on the map, but that doesn't mean that they don't. It just means that if they don't, I can understand it. And again, most of this shit is optional for a reason. Personally, I like it when maps have a lot of extra side content because it gives me a lot to do. But they're side content, which means if I don't want to do it, I can ignore it.
So, what we have so far is a pack-a-punch process that oftentimes turns into a scavenger hunt in which nobody wants to participate in, alongside a million different pieces you need to grab for your survival. Not a great combination. The majority of players don't like this map for that exact reason. And
tell you what, Tim. Show me this massive amount of people that hate Dead of the Night because there's a bunch of extra side content, and maybe I'll believe you. Oh, wait a minute. I have some data that shows the exact opposite. Remember this little poll from the last video I responded to you on? Quite clearly, people like this map. So stop strawmanning, get off your fucking high horse, and accept that maybe your opinion is different from the opinion of the community at large, instead of trying to paint your opinion as the opinion of the zombies community in general.
And here is the incoming argument, which is, Tim, there are other maps out there, such as Origins, for example, that have a million different parts to grab. Yet you applaud those maps, and those maps are considered the best. What's the difference? Well, the difference is, in Origins, I'm getting 4 ultimate stabs that essentially deal infinite damage, right? And then on Dead of the Night, you're given an Alistair's Foley. Huge discrepancy there. I mean, the Alistair's Foley is a unique wonder weapon. I personally enjoy it, but it's nothing in comparison. When I do all of that work and put in all of that effort on Origins, I'm rewarded greatly for it. When I do the same on Dead of the Night, I'm usually just slapped in the face.
So let's go ahead and break this one down, shall we? The idea that Dead of the Night just slaps you in the face for actually putting in the effort to get shit done is completely fucking stupid. He compared the Alistair's Folly to the staffs on Origins, stating that the staffs do infinite damage, and by comparison, Alistair's Folly isn't really all that great. Which is already a problem because, I'm assuming because he said Alistair's Folly, he's referring to the unupgraded version of this wonder weapon, yet he seems to be comparing them to the ultimate staffs on Origins after you've upgraded them, which is just a shitty comparison. Like, either compare the upgraded versions to each other, which is what I would do, or compare the non-upgraded versions to each other. Because I can spin this shit around and compare the unupgraded staffs to Alistair's Annihilator to make the staff seem like complete shit. So if we compare them, Alistair's Annihilator, all 4 of the charge shots do infinite damage. By comparison of the 4 staffs on Origins, only one of them does infinite damage, that being the Wind Staff. The charge shot for the Fire and Lightning Staff stop one-shotting zombies sometime within the 50s, and the Ice Staff's charge shot stops killing zombies instantly at round 118, which is still pretty far, but it's not infinite damage, that's my point, which is something Tim gets objectively wrong. As for the amount of effort you have to put in to get this shit, well, let's do some comparisons. So, to get any of the staffs on Origins, you have to get 5 parts. You have 3 for the staff itself, you have the disc to go through its respective portal in the crazy place, and you also need the crystal. That's for each respective staff, and to get any of the staffs, you need the white disc as well as the gramophone. By comparison, Alistair's Folly either requires you to pull it from the mystery box, or find 4 symbols, enter them into the machine, and then you can grab it for free. Additionally, upgrading any one staff requires you to do a chamber puzzle in the crazy place, then do another puzzle somewhere on the surface, then align the lights and shoot the orb to get it to go back to the crazy place, then place the staff and do a soul box step, and then you have your ultimate staff. To upgrade Alistair's Folly the first time, you just need to bash the bookcase to grab the part, and kill a single werewolf with silver bullets, both of which can be easily done as soon as you open Pack-a-Punch. This will give you the Chaos Theory, which has 2 charged shots, both of which do infinite damage. And then to upgrade that to Alistair's Annihilator, you gotta poison the zombie in order to get them to dig up a part in the forest, shoot some lights, and then shoot the flying vampire that comes out of it, and then summon the Crimson Nosferatu and kill him. This gets you Alistair's Annihilator, which gives you the other 2 charge shots, which are more effective. So the amount of effort it takes to get Alistair's Folly is about as much as it takes to get 1 unupgraded staff on Origins, maybe even less. Getting that to the Chaos Theory is basically fucking nothing. And then getting that to Alistair's Annihilator is about as much effort as it would take to upgrade 1 staff on Origins. But Origins has 4 ultimate staffs, and yet you want to complain that Dead of the Night has too much shit to do. Then the Steak Knife, which will one-shot zombies up through the mid-20s, as well as be a one-hit kill against the vampires forever. Kinda similar to the Golden Spork, which one-shot zombies up through round 34, and takes a similar amount of effort to get. Silver Bullets, literally, you can do this as soon as you open up the whole map. Main use is to kill werewolves faster. Kinda like how the plunger under Eisendrache is used to one-shot the Panzers, and that takes a whole lot more effort to get. I could go on, but I think y'all get my point.
One thing I really do enjoy about Dead of the Night is the atmosphere. I mean, is there another one out there like Dead of the Night? We were slapped in the face with an uninteresting premise, an uninteresting set of characters, and just a relatively boring concept.
I mean, I think Dead of the Night has one of the best atmospheres of all time. I will agree with that statement. It's just it completely contradicts what you said earlier, that clip I told y'all to remember. So yeah, Tim, I guess you really can't
Keep that same energy.
With that all being said, there is one thing. There is one particular reason why I can't stand Dead of the Night. There is one driving force as to why Tim doesn't play Dead of the Night, and that's the Nosferatus. These motherfuckers. Vampires, Nosferatus, whatever you want to refer to them as. Treyarch, why did you add them in the map? They make sense aesthetically in terms of atmosphere. You know, vampires in a big, scary monster house. It all makes sense to me, right? And, you know, maybe they would work if there weren't so many of them. But, Jesus, man. There's 1,000 of these motherfuckers crawling in the map every single round. They're absolutely everywhere.
My only explanation for this is that Tim is playing the pre-patch version of Dead of the Night because when this map first launched, yeah, these fuckers were insufferable. But about 2 weeks after the map launched, Treyarch pushed out a patch that reduced the spawn rates for these motherfuckers and made them easier to kill. Now it's more like just a handful of them every round, and they're not that difficult to kill. I mean, I won't say that the vampires are my favorite special enemy of all time, but they're more than tolerable.
At every single turn, one of these motherfuckers are standing there. They jump on you, they scratch you, there's blood all over your screen, you can't see properly. They lunge at you, they're quick, they're nimble, they're hard to shoot sometimes. They're literally denizens, but bigger.
How the fuck are these similar to the denizens at all? I mean, visually, they're both sort of lightish brown, but that's about where the similarities stop. The denizens are flying enemies that will latch onto your head and claw your eyeballs out whenever you run through the fog on transit, and the only reason they exist is to slow you down so that the Xbox 360 and PS3's aging hardware can load the map fast enough. The vampires, on the other hand, are basically just kind of like regular zombies, except slightly beefier and delay your health regeneration by like 1 second. And these motherfuckers are not hard to shoot. Unless you just have garbage aim. Like, right here, more than anything else, it just seems like Tim is just projecting a massive skill issue.
And stronger. Denizens were deemed as the most annoying boss of all time. These are just denizens that are bigger. So effectively, the Nosferatus are the worst boss zombie of all time. I mean, these, it's like having, how do I describe this? These, it's like having, how do I describe this?
I don't know, maybe can you complete your fucking sentence?
These, it's like having, how do I describe this? I don't have an STI. I don't have any sexual transmitted infections or diseases.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was obvious to anybody watching because in order to have a sexually transmitted infection, you have to have sex. And something tells me that this dude and women are not exactly acquaintances.
But I imagine that this is what it would feel like. I seriously, genuinely think that the Nosferatus ruined Dead of the Night. For a lot of people out there, too, this is not an unpopular opinion.
Projection detected, opinion rejected.
Ask a lot of people out there that the Nosferatus, that could just be the title of this. Nosferatus fucking ruined it. Without silver bullets, the werewolves are difficult to shoot down, but they don't spawn in nearly as frequently, and I don't see them as much of an issue. I think they're pretty cool. I think they add a minor chaos to this map. The Catalyst Zombies, as many of you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of either. I think they add nothing and take away a lot. The Nosferatus, however, they take the cake. Absolute worst boss in Call of Duty Zombies history. Fucking terrible in every way. So, the boss zombies, sorry to lump you in, werewolves, but the Dead of the Night boss zombies take away so much of this experience. It's really just the quantity of them that ruins this map for me. I feel as though people don't talk about it enough.
Yeah, they don't talk about it as much because unlike you, they're not completely fucking incompetent at the game.
But the Nosferatus, to me, are the driving force as to why I personally don't play, and it's just another one of the many reasons as to why Dead of the Night isn't a very good map. Black Ops 4 Zombies has a lot of issues that have nothing to do with Dead of the Night and has everything to do with the game mechanics themselves. I've made a video talking extensively of just that. But what Dead of the Night did was ruin Black Ops 4 Zombies going forward. You see, DLC 1, like I said, is the ultimate first impression. And they didn't even market it. DLC 1 fell flat, and then DLC 2 fell flat, and then
Congratulations, Tim. You're a walking contradiction.
3, and then 4, it was sort of a domino effect. You have to get the first DLC right, otherwise people's attention span disappears and people leave for other games. And that's what happened with Black Ops 4 Zombies, and that's what happened with Dead of the Night. Now, you can have a good quality map without good marketing, but the map itself wasn't fantastic either. And that is how Dead of the Night ruined Black Ops 4 Zombies. It's not my least favorite map of all time, and I realize there are some hardcore fans and people that would argue that it is the best map in the game. And I'm open to that discussion, but what's not up for discussion is that Dead of the Night shot Black Ops 4 in the foot. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like on the video if you did. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. I realize a lot of these Black Ops 4 analysis videos are negative. They're not all negative. In fact, of the 4 I did, 2 of them, half of them, were positive. But I really appreciate you listening through even if you disagreed. I gotta go. Thank you guys so much. Peace out.
Oh, thank God, I can finally stop watching this garbage-ass review. So, the moral of the story is, Tim Hansen hates Dead of the Night, therefore everybody hates Dead of the Night. And if you disagree, you're just a small subset of the hardcore community. But in all seriousness, thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyways, that's about it for this video, so I'll see you next time. Peace!